Hey, capsule people. Oh, gosh. Sorry. Bad habits die hard. One moment.
Hey, capsule people. So, I have been reading some chats, and people seem to feel the Cormorant is an underwhelming ship, and I don't know. I feel like it's too nice of a ship to overlook. It can be versatile, but it's definitely a ship where you need to be conscious of where your strengths are, as in with most ships. But I think it has a lot more to offer than what most people feel. So I just wanted to make a video pointing some of this out and showing some successful engagements. Firstly, let's look at the info window. The ship has bonuses to hybrid turrets, okay, and it has mostly bonuses for optimal range, besides tracking speed. Oh, never mind the name. I named it Catalyst, but it is a Cormorant. We can look at it side by side with the Catalyst. Here I'm holding Shift when I click the info window to open it up in a separate window so I can compare. And it's basically the same bonuses, except instead of the optimal range per skill level, the Catalyst has a fall off range per skill level. Also, the Catalyst has an extra turret hardpoint and one less mid slot, although it has an extra low slot, but I'm a fan of mid slots for utility. This is my fitting. I carry some ammo. I would recommend playing around with this fit. It doesn't you don't have to copy other people's fits to make things work, but it's good to get a general idea. And I would make sure to maybe even carry some faction ammo since it has better application. So here, my buddy and I, Sheer, who's in a Cormorant Navy issue, we're trying to catch some fights. This Federation Comet lands on a gate, and we're like, maybe we'll bait him into a fight. He doesn't bite. But I tell him we should keep approaching the gate because there's another two war targets in system. And we're hoping maybe they head this way. Generally, it's not a good idea to fight on the gate, but Sheer is usually online with doing crazy shit with me. And here, two Thrasher fleet issues come on D-scan. They're landing on the gate. I tell Sheer we should each take our own target. He should take one, and then we'll meet up on the other. It seems like they have the same idea. Something happens with Sheer, he doesn't move his ship at all. I think he was experiencing lag or something. The Thrasher that I'm focusing melts quickly, and I switch over to the other Thrasher, but Sheer didn't survive that. It's apparent that the two Thrashers focused on Sheer. He gets to warp away. I'm still trying to reach that other Thrasher, but he's keeping good range, dealing heavy damage. And I realize I'm not tackled, so I warp out. As you can see, they weren't they didn't have a tackle fitted. Apparently, it was just a band of hot drop Thrasher fleet issues, so allowing me to escape. They were apparently fittings to overwhelm an opponent with DPS rather than keep the fight extended. A smart duo, but doesn't secure targets. In faction warfare low sec, at least, we refer to this as an honor tackle, as in, okay, we've decided we're going to fight each other, no one's going to run away, okay? So some fittings actually use mid slots for utility and, for example, like dual webs instead of a web and a scram, or in their case, tracking computers for damage application. For this second engagement, what I'm trying to do here is, well, I see some war targets in system. I decide to warp to the medium navy site, allowing cruisers inside. I'm descanning in the direction so that I'm certain about what is there as I enter the descan range. I see this Catalyst Navy issue on scan, so I switch to short scan at 0.1 AU. He's still appearing here as I'm landing on the gate. I'm contemplating whether or not I should enter the site, and I decide to warp to the other medium, which pops up in the overview so everyone can see that someone issued a warp command to it. But I decide to warp to it so that I can maybe be inside the site and hold the high ground. As I'm landing, I check my long scan to check the info on the Catalyst Navy issue. I always check info because I don't know it by heart. And this Comet lands, not a war target, just a pirate, and I decide to slide the gate and catch him inside. Or engage each other inside. I don't know who's catching who here. I issue first an approach. I see that he's trying to speed away from me, which is smart. I do catch him. And at this point, it's just melting. He gets, I think he gets a rep in. He's activated a little too late. Yeah, there's a rep, but he goes right back down. Generally, Cormorant will melt pretty much any frigate it encounters, depending on the range and fitting, of course. But it turns out well in my case. Here I'm sat inside of a faction warfare complex, burning through the timer, engaging any NPCs so that the timer keeps going. There's something called high ground supremacy, I call it at least, but it's an understanding that whoever's holding the inside of the site will pretty much always have an advantage over anyone that's sliding in on them. Very specific fits can manage to slide into a site that's being held and still do well. It also boils down to piloting expertise and skill. But usually whoever's holding the inside can better position themselves on the warp-in beacon, where everything that warps in will land within 2.5 kilometers away from that warp-in beacon. Here, I'm spamming short scan at 0.1 AU so that anything that lands on my gate gets picked up. I'm checking info windows to see if people have, if I have recorded their Z-kill boards. It's good to make a small check on Z-kill and even link in their info, in their notes tab of the info window, so you can quickly refer to reoccurring opponents, reoccurring targets, and check what they're flying. As I'm doing that, a Comet lands on my gate. I'm pretty sure that if he's sliding in on me, he's going to know to position himself accordingly. So he must be quite boosted or something to do well with the range. Here he slides in. I immediately set an orbit and start locking and turn on my prop mod. He's burning away. He's got supreme speed, so I switch to null immediately. So null is a longer range ammo. I'm a little slow on turning on my reps. I'm still trying to kind of approach him, and here I decide to start aligning away because I see that he's trying to keep his range anyway. So I'm trying to manage that to my advantage, so that he approaches me and reduces the transversal, and it works out. I get those last few hits. It was a really close fight and very nice fight. It was obviously everyone gets the GFs in local chat. I have my local chat set on a different, on further off to the left. In this last engagement I wanted to show, there's this Comet Slicer duo, which I'm hesitant to engage. I feel like I'll probably lose my ship, even if I do take one of them down. Comets hit hard, Slicers are very nimble and usually go for kite fits, which at this Cormorant is not set to is not set to hit at such a range, 20 kilometers or more. Here, the Comet comes at me, and I'm debating whether or not I should engage him. I'm thinking about it, and I start locking, but at the same time, his slicer buddy lands, and I'm like, fuck this shit, I'm out. I jump the gate, and they follow through because they never took weapons timers. If you shoot someone, you can't dock or jump through a Stargate for an entire minute from your last aggressive action. So fighting on gates can be kind of tricky. So I'm warping away, trying to get away from these guys, and reassess the situation, maybe make something happen where I can maybe fight one and then the other. They're still chasing back and forth, even though I'm warping to safe spots set at warpable celestials. As you can see, they're at 150 kilometers or more away from me. I could warp down at them, but I decide to warp away to the gates. I'm still warping to safe spots near celestials, so like right next to the gate, but not at the gate. Which means if they try to follow me and warp, they'll land at the gate, probably thinking I'm at the gate in their chase. But instead, I'm sat hundreds of kilometers away, and I get to see them on overview. At some point, I decide here to actually warp to the prison gate. Where they both land at the same time, and I see my opportunity. I'm still hesitant whether or not to take the gate, but I say, look, if I'm gonna engage these guys, I'm going on the slicer first and make sure that he can't kite me. He starts making his move, so I start making my move. Target number one is the slicer. Make sure he can't kite me out. Target number two, he goes down real quick. Target number two, Comet, and the same as before, except now instead of shooting null, I'm shooting void for higher damage, and he melts too. They melted real quick. They did a lot of damage, but they melted very quickly. Also, they asked in local chat for the pod express, which means please kill my pod so I can respawn at base and undock and come out again real quick. Sometimes I'll do that as a favor, I guess, but generally I don't shoot capsules because of the severe standing loss you get when you destroy pods. I operate in all areas of space, so shooting pods can be detrimental when I want to do stuff in high sec and other faction space. In closing, give ships a try. Uh, Check out other people's fits, make it work for yourself, for your skills, and the way you want to fight, and get a feel for the situation. It takes experience. You gotta fight to know what to expect. Start cheap and work your way up, get that experience, and good luck.